Today I am going to start DC generators. So in DC generators, you are going to see dynamically induced EMF. So first, what is a DC generator? So we know that an electric generator is a machine that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So here, electric generator is the machine that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So let us take a example of a diesel generator. So here diesel engine will be there that will be generating the mechanical power that will be given as input to the generator. So generator will be generating the electrical power. So here an electric generator is the machine that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. If you take alternators, or if you take generating stations, so here mechanical power is given as input to the generator. So if you take a hydel power plant, so here the turbine will be rotating. The turbine is rotated by the water. Okay, and if you take a thermal power plant, so steam is used to rotate the turbine. Turbine shaft is connected to the generator. So that here, like this, here we are going to give mechanical power input to the generator, and we are going to get the electrical power output from the generator. So here an electric generator is a machine that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Now coming to DC generators. So if the generator generates a DC voltage, then it is called as DC generator. If the output is the electrical energy, so here if the electrical energy is of a DC type, so here direct current type. So if the generator generates a DC voltage, it is called as DC generator. So here an electric generator is based on the principle that, so this is very important. See here, so an electric generator is based on the principle that whenever magnetic flux is cut by the conductor, whenever magnetic flux is cut by a conductor, an EMF is induced. See here, an EMF is induced which will cause a current to flow in if the conductor circuit is closed. So an electric generator is based on the principle that whenever magnetic flux is cut by a conductor, an EMF is induced which will cause a current to flow if the conductor circuit is closed. So current will be flowing if a conductor circuit is closed. Is it clear? An electric generator is based on the principle that, so whenever magnetic flux is cut by a conductor, EMF is induced in the conductor. EMF is induced in the conductor. And when the conductor circuit is closed, current will be flowing through the conductor. So let us see the diagram. So here, next, the direction of induced EMF is given by Fleming's right-hand rule. Fleming's right-hand rule. So the direction of induced EMF is given by Fleming's right-hand rule. So I'm going to explain Fleming's right-hand rule. All this I will explain. So here, first let us see the construction of a DC generator. So here, see here, first this is the yoke. The outer part is the yoke. On this you are going to have the pole. So you have two poles. One is the north pole, another one is the south pole. So here you can see the pole. So this is one pole, this is another pole, this is the north pole, this is the south pole. So here, so how the poles are formed? So here we are going to have a field winding. So when a DC supply is given to this field winding, so here these poles act as electromagnets, and here this will be the direction of the magnetic flux. See here. So actually here also there will be winding. So here, see here, after this, so here you can see the winding. So after this winding is continued like this, okay. So like this, you are going to have the winding. So to these windings, we are going to apply DC supply. So these two terminals, for these two terminals, which I'm going to write as F. This is F. This is FF. F and FF are the terminals of the field winding. So when a DC supply is given to this field winding, so here this poles acts as electromagnets, and here the direction of the north pole and south pole depends upon the winding and the direction of the current flow. Now here, this is the direction of the magnetic flux. Okay, we are going to have a magnetic flux. So this is the direction of the magnetic flux. You can see the arrow directions. Okay, now here, after this, the magnetic flux will flow takes this path, and a few lines will take this path. Okay, so here can you see the arrow marks? So this is the direction of the magnetic flux. The direction of the magnetic flux. Okay, so here the direction of the magnetic flux will be from north pole to south pole. The direction of the lines of force will be from north pole to south pole, and inside the magnet, south pole to north pole. Outside the magnet, north pole to south pole. And here you have this. Here. So here you have the magnetic field. So when the field winding is excited, that means when field winding is supplied with DC power, DC voltage, so here we are going to get a magnetic field, and you can see the magnetic flux lines, magnetic lines of force. Next, see here, you can see a pole shoe. Okay, so pole shoe are used here. You can see here it clearly. So pole shoe, so a pole shoe is used to support these windings. Okay, so the windings will not fall down, and here this pole shoe will stop these windings falling down. Next, you have this armature. So here step by step we shall go. So here yoke is completed, the outer frame and the stator core. Next, pole shoe completed. Next, coming to um, armature. So rotating part is called as armature. On the armature you are going to have armature winding. So winding is made up of conductors. So here on the armature, here this is the armature. So here this is the armature. This is the armature. This rotating part is the armature. So the armature is also made up of laminations in order to reduce the iron loss. Next, you are going to have the slots here. In the slots, armature conductors will be there. So the armature conductors are connected to form the armature winding. Next, now here you can see a brush. See here, brush. So before the brush, you have the commutator. So commutator will convert AC to DC, and that current will be flowing through the brushes. Okay, and here we are going to get the DC voltage. So here I am writing as terminals A, AA. AA are the terminals of the armature where you are going to get the DC voltage. So here see here. So here how here the first the armature is rotated. So when the armature is rotated, so you have the magnetic field. So these are conductors. Whatever the conductors are there, they will cut the magnetic flux, and EMF will be induced in the conductor, and the conductors are connected to this commutator. So commutator will convert AC to DC, and here the current flows through these brushes. So here A are the terminals of the armature where we are going to get the DC output voltage. So DC output voltage is will be there between the terminals A and A. A are the terminals of the armature where we are going to get the DC voltage as the output. So let us see the working principle of this DC generator. So you can see the armature here. This is the cross-sectional view. This is the side view of the armature and commutator. So armature. So on the armature is the rotating part, and on the armature you are going to have the armature slots. So on the armature slots you are going to have the armature conductors. So here on the armature slots you are going to have the armature conductors, and these armature conductors are connected in to form the armature winding. The armature winding is connected to the commutator. So commutator will convert AC to DC. So here let us see the working principle of this uh, generator. See here. So I am taking north pole and south pole, and you can see the direction of lines of force. See here, the direction of the lines of force will be from north pole to south pole. So you can see the direction here. This is the direction. So direction of the magnetic flux. And here you have a conductor. You have a coil. So this is a single turn coil. So like this, we are going to have many turns, and that forms a armature winding. So before that, let us understand the single turn operation, single turn generator. So here, let us consider a single turn. So here, it has two conductors. Is it clear? It has two conductors. And see here, I have shown the different positions. So let us consider this is conductor A, this is conductor A, this is conductor B. Okay, and the coil is rotated in clockwise direction. See, the coil is rotated in clockwise direction. Now here, these are two slip rings. So this conductor B is connected to this first slip ring, and inside the slip ring the conductor is connected. Outside the slip ring you have this brush. So brush will be fixed in position. Here you have two brushes. This is one brush, right? This is one brush, and this is another brush. Okay, you have two brushes. You have two brushes. So you can write here. This is one brush. This is another brush. See here. This is the another brush. You can see two brushes. So brushes are used to collect the current. Next, coming to this one. So slip rings. If you see these slip rings, the conductor is connected to the slip rings. So here, this is another conductor. Conductor A is connected to this second slip ring. Inside the slip ring, it is connected. The conductor is connected inside the slip ring. Outside of the slip ring, a brush. So you can see here, brush will get contact with the slip ring. Now here, now we are going to rotate this coil in clockwise direction. If you rotate this coil in clockwise direction, what happens? The conductor B will move up. Is it clear? This conductor will be moving up, and this conductor will be moving down. So here we have the lines of force. So here this conductor, when it moves up, it will cut the magnetic lines of force. When a conductor cuts the magnetic flux, EMF is induced in the conductor. Similarly, this conductor is moving down, so EMF will be induced in the conductor A. Now let us see the direction of the induced EMF. So how the EMF is induced according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction? When a conductor cuts the magnetic flux, EMF is induced in the conductor. Now let us see the direction of induced EMF. So the direction of induced EMF and hence the current is given by Fleming's right hand rule. See here, Fleming's right hand rule. So the direction of induced EMF, hence current, is given by Fleming's right hand rule. What is Fleming's right hand rule? Let us see here. So I will explain here. So here, you have to stretch the thumb. Sorry. So first, let us draw three perpendicular lines. Okay. Three perpendicular lines. So if you take this as x-axis, y-axis, and this will be the z-axis. So you know x and y. Okay. X-axis, y-axis, you know. Z-axis, yeah. If you take a cube, if you take a cube, so here like this. Okay. If you take a cube like this, so here you have x-axis, y-axis, and also one more thing is z-axis. So three dimensional. So let us take a three dimensional. So x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So here. So here if you take a cube, so here x-axis, y-axis, and another one is the z-axis. So here if you take this as x-axis, and this if you take this as x-axis, this dotted one x-axis, dotted one y-axis, and this dotted one will be the z-axis. If you take this as the positive, let us consider. So x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Now here we have to stretch the, as all of you stretch the thumb, forefinger, and the middle finger perpendicular to each other. So let me explain here. So you have to stretch the thumb, forefinger, middle finger, and so here this will be thumb, forefinger, this middle finger. Thumb, forefinger, and middle finger are perpendicular to each other of right hand. Right hand. So here, if you stretch the thumb, forefinger, and the middle finger perpendicular to each other. So thumb, forefinger, and middle finger. Thumb, forefinger, middle finger. So here, if you point out like this, so you are going to get like this. So instead of this, I am going to take in the other direction. So I will show this. Wait. Yes. See here, if you stretch the thumb, see here. If you stretch the thumb, forefinger, middle finger perpendicular to each other. Okay. So like this. Okay. So if you stretch the thumb, forefinger, and middle finger perpendicular to each other. So if thumb indicates the direction of the rotation, and here middle finger, see, forefinger, field, forefinger for field, thumb for rotation. So here, then middle finger indicates the direction of the induced EMF. So here middle finger indicates the direction of the induced EMF and the current. So you can also remember center finger for current, forefinger for field, thumb for direction of rotation. Now here, now I will explain now. thumb indicates the direction of the rotation, and forefinger indicates the direction of the field. Next, what about the middle finger? See here, middle finger is pointed along the direction of induced EMF. So here middle finger gives the direction of induced EMF, hence the current. So here you can see the direction of the current. So when the current flows, when the circuit is closed, when the conductor circuit is closed here, so here the slip ring is contacting with the brush, and here it is connected to resistance, and it is connected to this brush.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. Okay, wait. So once again I will explain. So here, see here, if you stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of the right hand, if you stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of the right hand perpendicular to each other, if a thumb indicates the direction of the rotation, forefinger the direction of the field, then the middle finger gives the direction of induced EMF and hence the current. See here. So let us apply here. So here you can see the direction of the magnetic flux. So here it is along the x-axis. Assume it is along x-axis. Now here the conductor B is moving up. So here thumb indicating the direction of the induced EMF. What about the middle finger? This will be the direction of the middle finger, right, of the right hand. Now here, so you are going to get this direction of the current. Is it clear? So you are going to get the direction of the current. So here, this is X and this is Y and this is Z. Z is inside. Okay. So if you stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of right hand perpendicular to each other, okay, if you take the right hand and if you stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger right angle to each other or perpendicular to each other, if a forefinger indicates the direction of the magnetic field, thumb indicates the direction of rotation, then middle finger indicates the direction of induced EMF and hence the current. So here you can see here, this is the direction of the magnetic flux, which is along the x-axis, let us assume. Next, direction of the conductor. So here the B is moving up. So if the coil is rotated in clockwise direction, so here the conductor B will be moving up. So it is placed in the direction of the thumb. So what about the induced EMF and hence the current? So in this direction. So you are going to see the current in this direction. Is it clear? So once again I will explain with the see here. So here if you stretch the, if you take your right hand, you stretch the thumb in upward direction, magnetic field perpendicular to the parallel to the ground, okay, in this direction. So like this. Now here this is the direction of the field, this is the direction of the conductor. Thumb indicates the direction of the conductor, forefinger indicates the field direction, center finger indicates the direction of induced EMF and hence the current. Now if you apply, you are going to get this one. So all of you try this one. So have you tried this one? Have you got this direction of this current? Yeah, please respond. Now similarly, get the direction of current in the conductor A. Now here you can see here, you can see the direction of the field. You can see the direction of the conductor. It is downward, and get the direction of the current. So how you are going to see this one? Um, so like this. So I will show this one. So try to get the direction of the current in this conductor A. This is conductor A. So here is, if you take the conductor A, so here let us say the thumb indicates the direction of the motion, forefinger indicates the direction of the field, next center finger. So here instead of putting like this, you put like this. Okay, field direction, uh, conductor direction. Thumb indicates the direction of the conductor. So the conductor A is moving down. So I am putting in this way, and here the this is the direction of the magnetic field, and here center finger indicates the direction of the current. So here, so you are going to get this. So you can see the direction of the current will be in this direction. So here, now you are going to get the direction of the current in this direction. Previously it was like this for conductor A. For conductor B, the direction is in this direction. So the current flows in this path. Is it clear? Okay. Shall I proceed further? Yeah, please respond. So like this, Fleming right hand rule. Always remember, Fleming's right hand rule is used for generator. Okay, Fleming's right hand rule is used for generator to find the direction of the induced EMF and hence the current. So here this is a single turn coil. So induced EMF will be equal to, you can add this two EMFs, induced EMF in the conductor B plus induced EMF in the conductor A. So you are going to get this. Totally induced EMF is equal to 2 times of the induced EMF in each connector, because these two are connected in series. Now if you want to increase the voltage, you have to connect more conductors in series, and if you want to increase the current, we have to connect the conductors in parallel. So we are going to connect a series and parallel combination to increase the voltage and current, so that we are going to see further. Next, now what about the nature of the voltage? So here we are going to get AC voltage, and the current is also alternating current. So with this we are going to get AC current, but what we want DC current. How to convert a AC to DC? By using a commutator. So here you can see here. So before going to this, you have to know why it is AC and what will be the voltage waveform. So here we are going to get the voltage waveform like this, sinusoidal waveform. So here, so when the conductor is at this position, so we are going to get the maximum voltage. Next, here. So here, so let us take here. So here, if this is the starting position, so you are going to get maximum voltage. Next, the voltage decreases when this conductor becomes perpendicular. Okay. So here, this coil plane is parallel to the lines of force. When the coil plane becomes perpendicular to the lines of force, so induced EMF becomes zero, and here is the induced EMF again. So like this, you are going to get sinusoidal voltage. So we want this type of voltage. So this is considered as a DC voltage. It can be filtered further by using capacitors. So this will be filtered, and you are going to eliminate the ripples, and you are going to get a constant DC voltage. Now here, by this arrangement, we are going to get the AC voltage. How you can say this is AC voltage means? See here. Okay. Now let us see the direction of the current. See here. This is the direction of the current when the conductor B is moving up, when conductor A is moving down. Okay. Now here, when the conductor, when the coil completes 90 degrees rotation, so this will be the position of B, this will be the position of the A. So I am showing a cross-sectional view. Next, when this coil completes another 90 degrees, this will be the position of A, will be the position of B. Now here, A will be moving up. See here, the conductor is rotating in clockwise direction. Now here, from this instant onwards, B will be moving down. See here, the coil is rotating in clockwise direction. Now A will be moving up. A will be moving up. B will be moving down. Right. So what about this case? B is moving up. B is moving up. A is moving down. Here, A is moving up. B is moving down. Is it clear? So here the direction of the motion of the conductor is changed. But here you can see here B is always connected to this brush. B is always connected to this brush. A is always connected to this second brush. Okay. So what about the direction of the current? So here in this case, you can see the direction of the current. So here in this case, the direction of the current will be A is connected to this second slip ring, and it is connected to brush, and this will be the direction of the current, and this will be the direction of the current. In this direction, the current will be flowing. Now, after 180 degrees rotation, you can see here A will be moving up, B will be moving down. Now here, this position is taken by A. This position is taken by A. See here. So in that case, so here you can draw like this. Okay. If this becomes A, and if this becomes a B, okay. So A will be connected to first slip ring. I will draw a separate diagram. So here you must remember, you can see here B conductor is always connected to the first slip ring. A conductor is always connected to the second slip ring. After 180 degrees rotation, you can see that okay. So B is connected to first slip ring. So B becomes here this position. When this becomes B, This is becoming B, this is becoming A. B is always connected to the first slip ring. Okay. A to B is to first, B is connected to first one, and A is connected to the second one. B is connected to the first one, and you have the brushes. Here also you are going to have a brush. Now here, what about the direction of the current here? So here you can place the same directions here also. So here in this, the direction of the current will be like this, and here the direction of the current will be like this, and here you can see here A is connected. See here, wait. See here, I have drawn this wrong. So be careful here. Just I will rub this one. So connect the brushes in the same way. So here RL is connected to the first slip ring. Let us put a brush here, and here you can see this connection. Now you can place the direction of the current. Now see the direction of the current. So B is connected to B is always connected to the first slip ring. Inside this will be, let us treat this as hollow. So inside of this ring, B is connected. Outside the brush is connected. You see the direction of the current. So here, so A here B is connected to the first one. So here this will be the direction, and here the current will be flowing in this direction. This is RL, and this is the direction of the current, and this is entering like this. I will make somewhat clear. So A is always connected, B is always connected to the first slip ring, right? See here, B is connected to the first slip ring. B is connected to the first slip ring. So B is connected to the first slip ring, and here you have this brush. Okay, so here, so like this, A is connected here to the second slip ring. Why we require the slip rings? So in order to rotate the, so here, so slip ring is connected to the coil. So when the coil rotates, slip ring also rotates. And here EMF is induced in the conductor. That means at the ends of the slip rings you have the DC voltage. How to collect this DC voltage? Slip ring is rotating and we have to collect the DC voltage. It can be collected by having a brush contact. So by pressing the brush to the slip ring, the current starts flowing through this load current. Now here you can see here. So here the direction of the current is upwards. Here the direction of the current is downwards. See here. So you can see that same direction of the induced EMF in both sides. So here, instead of see, compare these two diagrams. So A is moving down, B is moving up after a 180 degrees rotation. So A takes this position, B takes this position, and you can see here B is connected to the first slip ring, A is connected to the second slip ring, same as this one. B is connected to the first slip ring, A is connected to the second slip ring, and you can see the direction of the induced EMFs. So the direction of the induced EMFs you can see here, and here you can see the direction of the current. See here, B slip ring is connected here. So current is coming like this, and here through the brush it will be going to the resistor. Through the resistor the current will be moving to this brush and to this slip ring, and here it is connected to A. So here you can see the direction of the current changes for every half cycle, and here you can see that the magnitude also changes. So how the magnitude depends, see here. So here this is rotating, right? So when this coil is in parallel to the lines of force. So here, so the plane of the coil is parallel to the lines of force. When it is rotating, it will be cutting the maximum lines of force. So here the induced EMF is proportional to d phi by dt. So here d phi by dt. So EMF is proportional to d phi by dt. So phi is the number of lines of force. So here, so when the plane of the coil is parallel to the lines of force, it will be cutting the maximum lines of force. So when it is moving, it will be cutting the maximum lines of force. So here you are going to get this maximum voltage. Okay, this maximum voltage you are going to get. Next, at this after completing 90 degrees, 0 degrees, let us take this as 0 degrees, 90 degrees. So after when the coil rotates 90 degrees, so plane of the coil will be perpendicular to the lines of force. But if you see the movement of the conductor will be parallel to the lines of force. At 90 degrees, you can see here the movement of the conductor. So at this position, at this position, this is the lines of force. So here, this is the line. These are the lines of force. Here you can see the conductor. The conductor will be moving parallel to the lines of force. So the flux cut by the conductor will be 0 at 90 degrees. Is it clear? This is very important. So here at this position, so when the B moves upwards and the plane of the coil is parallel to the lines of force, so when the conductor B moves up, it will be cutting the maximum lines of force. When B moves, so here after 90 degrees, B will be moving parallel to the, see here, this is the conductor B. Is it clear? So here these are the, let us take, these are the lines of force. And the conductor B is moving. Here the conductor B, when it moves, it will be moving parallel to the lines of force, and flux cut by the conductor will be 0 and induced EMF will be 0. So here this is the position of the, at this position you can see here the induced EMF will be 0, and afterwards you can see here the direction of the B, the conductor B will be moving down. Here the conductor B is moving up. So in this case, when the coil is rotating in clockwise direction, the conductor B is moving up. After 90 degrees, the conductor B will be moving down. Therefore, the direction of induced EMF changes and also the current changes. So here you are going to get a sinusoidal output voltage. So here this AC can be converted to DC by using a commutator. So here it can be explained by using a split ring. So by using a split rings, we can convert. So here, if you use slip rings, we are going to get AC. If you use split rings, we are going to get DC. This I am going to explain in the next class. Okay. So here, what is the mechanism we are using is, so here this is a commutator segment. We are taken only two commutator segments. So after 180 degrees rotation, the positions of the commutator gets changed. So after C1, C2, so this the positions also changes. See here, the slip ring 1 is always connected to this brush. Slip ring 2 is always connected to this brush. Let us take this is brush 1. This is brush 2. Brush 1, brush 2. So here slip ring 1, slip ring 2. So here in this case, we cannot physically move the brushes. But here, what happens? Automatically, the positions of the brushes changes from C1 to C2. So here C1 is connected to B1 initially. This is B2. After 180 degrees, what happens? C2 gets connected to B1 and C1 gets connected to B2. So here you are going to get this type of induced EMF. See here. So here for after 180 degrees, you can see here C2 comes here, C1 comes here, and here you can see here B1, here B1, B2 brush. This is B2 brush. So here the positions of the brushes to the conductor changes after 180 degrees. So like this way we are going to get a DC output voltage. So here this is a split rings. So split rings means the ring is divided into two parts and insulated by a mica. And here if you use more segments, it is called as commutator. If you use only two segments, it is called as split ring. If you use more segments, it is called as commutator. And you can see the commutator segments. See here, these are the commutator segments. So this is about a DC generator. So here you have to, so here this practice this Fleming's right hand rule, and also this one. See the direction of the field, direction of the motion of the conductor, and also the direction of the current. So let me take the attendance now. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the next class. "62 absent." "79 absent."